Discipline rarely feels exciting. It often feels like the most lifeless and repetitive thing you can do. You wake up early, follow your routine, go to work, exercise, study, say no to distractions, and at the end of the day, you feel nothing. No fireworks, no applause, no visible change. Just another ordinary day stacked on top of yesterday. That is the moment when most people give up. They think discipline does not work because it does not feel like progress. They believe progress is supposed to feel dramatic and visible, something that can be measured each day. But real transformation does not announce itself. Discipline is slow and invisible, especially in the beginning. You do not see the changes because they are happening underneath the surface. Every time you choose to stay consistent, you are training your mind, shaping your character, and building habits that will serve you for life. Discipline feels boring because it removes the quick pleasure your brain is addicted to. The world teaches you to chase stimulation and comfort, but discipline takes all of that away. It leaves you with silence, repetition, and patience. Your mind starts to resist. You begin to wonder if it is worth it. You question yourself and imagine you are wasting your time. Yet what is actually happening is growth. The mind is learning to find meaning in the process instead of the result. Every successful person once stood in that same silence. They had mornings when they did not want to move, evenings when nothing seemed to matter, and nights when doubt was louder than belief. The difference is that they kept going. They understood that discipline is not about feeling inspired. It is about deciding to act no matter how you feel. Motivation is the beginning, but discipline is the continuation. It is what keeps you moving when the excitement is gone. In the early stages of discipline, it feels like walking through fog. You cannot see where you are going, yet you keep walking. Every step seems meaningless until one day the fog clears and you realize you have reached a place you once thought was impossible. That is what discipline does. It builds your future quietly while you are too focused on the grind to see it. Discipline will test your patience and your identity. It will make you question if you are built for this kind of life. It will whisper that maybe you are not talented enough, strong enough, or lucky enough. But those thoughts are only illusions. The silence, the repetition, the ordinary rhythm of daily work, that is not failure. That is the foundation of mastery. Discipline is not meant to entertain you. It is meant to prepare you. At first, discipline feels like punishment. You force yourself to do uncomfortable things. You reject easy pleasure. You take the longer route. But slowly the pain begins to turn into pride. The routine that once felt heavy begins to give you peace. The structure that once felt restrictive starts to feel like freedom. You begin to understand that discipline was never your enemy. It was your teacher. Every repetition, every early morning, every quiet night is reshaping who you are. You start to crave the stability you once avoided. The effort becomes a kind of meditation. You stop needing motivation because you start trusting consistency. You realize that the boring part is not a sign of failure, but a sign of maturity. Most people never reach that point because they live trapped in a pattern of starting and quitting. They chase excitement instead of progress. They want new results while repeating old habits. They mistake consistency for stagnation. But the truth is that excellence lives in repetition. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is patience. Success belongs to those who keep doing small things correctly, even after the feeling of excitement is gone. The quiet days, the lonely hours, the endless practice, these are the days that define you. You will not remember the bursts of motivation years from now. You will remember the moments when you were exhausted and kept going anyway. Those moments become your foundation. Those are the invisible victories that compound into greatness. Discipline feels boring until it pays off because growth works in silence. It does not make noise while it is happening. It builds itself in the background. Then one day you look back and everything is different. You are stronger, calmer, wiser, and you realize that all the small, dull days were sacred. When you finally see the results, you understand that every boring day was an investment. Every time you resisted distraction, you were building a version of yourself that could handle success. Discipline teaches patience, and patience teaches peace. It gives you something that motivation never could, the quiet confidence that you can rely on yourself. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and instant results, discipline becomes a rare superpower. It separates those who control their life from those who are controlled by it. It does not promise comfort, but it gives something greater, self-respect. The deep satisfaction of knowing that you showed up again and again even when no one was watching. So when the days feel repetitive and dull, when you feel like you are not moving forward, remember that boredom is not the enemy. It is the proof that you are leaving behind chaos and learning consistency. It is the sign that you are changing direction, building patience, and becoming the kind of person who finishes what they start. Discipline feels strange at first because peace feels strange to a mind that is used to chaos. But if you stay long enough, that strangeness becomes clarity. You begin to move with intention, not emotion. And when discipline finally pays off, it does more than change your results. It changes who you are. The second stage of discipline is not boredom anymore. It is pain. It is when you have already built the habit, when you are doing the work, but the results still refuse to show up. You wake up every morning knowing what you must do, and you do it, but deep inside, frustration starts to grow. You begin to ask yourself why it still feels like nothing is changing. You wonder how much longer you can keep doing something that gives you so little in return. This is the stage where most people collapse. It is not the lack of motivation that destroys them. It is the feeling that their effort is meaningless. They see others getting faster results, bigger rewards, more recognition, and they start comparing. That comparison becomes poison. It convinces them that they are behind, that they are wasting time, that maybe they are not meant for this. But discipline was never meant to reward you immediately. It was meant to test your patience and reveal your limits. In this phase, the pain of discipline begins to fight with the desire for comfort. You wake up tired, you question your goals, you look for excuses. Every day feels like an internal argument between what you want now and what you want most. And that war inside you is where strength is built. Each time you choose to keep going despite the resistance, you are not just building skill, you are building resilience. The truth is that discipline hurts because it kills the old version of you. It takes away your laziness, your distractions, your excuses, and it replaces them with effort and accountability. The process is not supposed to feel pleasant because you are being reshaped. Growth always requires discomfort. The same way muscles tear before they grow, your character must break before it strengthens. There will be days when you feel like all the effort is for nothing. You will wonder if the pain is worth it, if you are wasting your best years working for something that may never happen. But that pain is the price of transformation. The pain means you are in the middle of change. If it were easy, everyone would be disciplined. Everyone would be successful. But very few people can stay in the pain long enough to reach the other side. Pain is the signal that the old you is being replaced. It means your habits are being rewritten, your weaknesses are being challenged, and your limits are being exposed. The longer you endure it, the stronger you become. Pain is not a punishment. It is the process of becoming someone new. You will not always see the reward right away. Sometimes life will make you work in silence for months or even years before showing you a single result. That is the real test. Can you keep going when nothing seems to work? Can you trust the process when every instinct tells you to quit? If you can, then you are already winning. Because true discipline is not proven when everything is easy. It is proven when you stay calm in the storm, when you hold your ground in uncertainty, when you keep building even when the world stops believing in you. Pain has a strange way of teaching focus. It burns away distractions. When you are in pain, you stop chasing everything that does not matter. You stop wasting energy on approval and start investing in purpose. The pain becomes your teacher, and eventually it becomes your friend. It reminds you that comfort was never your goal. Your goal was evolution. There will come a point when you start to accept the pain. You stop fighting it. You stop asking when it will end. You simply carry it and keep moving forward. That is when real discipline begins. When you no longer need it to feel good to keep doing it. When you no longer need rewards to keep going. You reach a point of mental stillness where pain does not control you anymore. You start to act out of principle, not emotion. You become unshakable. That is the secret most people never discover. Discipline feels painful because it is transforming you into someone who no longer runs from pain. Someone who does not collapse under pressure. Someone who can build quietly, endure deeply, and keep going without applause. That kind of strength cannot be faked. It is earned through endurance. The pain phase eventually becomes peace. The same tasks that once drained you begin to feel natural. The same habits that felt forced become automatic. The resistance starts to fade, and you realize that what once hurt you has now built you. You stop chasing comfort because you have found something more valuable than comfort. You have found control. You begin to live differently. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You start to understand that every painful step had meaning. Every setback, every sacrifice, every lonely moment was a lesson preparing you for something greater. The pain you hated becomes the foundation of your strength. If you stay long enough in this phase, something powerful happens. The pain that once made you want to quit becomes your reason to continue. It becomes proof that you are capable of more than you ever believed. You begin to see pain not as an obstacle, but as confirmation that you are moving forward. The pain is not the end of the journey. It is the middle. And it is in the middle where most people give up, not realizing that the breakthrough is always closer than it feels. The ones who win are not the ones who avoid pain. They are the ones who walk straight through it and keep walking when everyone else stops. They are the ones who understand that pain is temporary, but the person you become by enduring it lasts forever. This is why discipline feels painful before it pays off. It is not a punishment. It is the refining fire that removes weakness and reveals strength. The pain is your proof that you are evolving. And if you keep going through it, one day you will look back and realize that every hard day was building something you could not yet see. When that realization comes, the pain disappears. What remains is pride, peace, and power, and you will know that you have crossed from discipline as a burden to discipline as a way of life.